Welcome to Harmonized Hustle, episode 3. I'm your host, Brian, and my co host, Jess. And we actually just recorded a podcast before this,
And it didn't record at all.
and it was not recording. So, pardon my energy. I'm exhausted. I used it on the last episode that didn't record.
And it is late at night, you guys.
It's kind of late, and I'm supposed to be going to the gym in a few hours, but
And we have an infant, so if you know, you know.
we're gonna push through, right? We're gonna push through.
Let's do it.
But yeah, today's episode, what we're gonna talk, it's not gonna be as spicy as the last one.
But we don't know. We're just going to go.
It might have got a little bit, some people in their feelings, in their bag, whatever. I don't know. Maybe you heard it. Maybe you didn't. It is what it is. But I think what we're gonna talk about today is one of the key components. We believe in a relationship, whether it's number 1 or 2 or 3, whatever. I don't know, but
We definitely feel like it's number one.
yeah,
And something that a lot of people in a lot of relationships struggle with, whether it be your marriage, just a regular relationship, friendship,
dating,
yeah,
doesn't matter.
anything.
But we wanted to talk about how important trust is. And obviously it sounds so cookie cutter and basic, but sometimes me and Jess, we talk about things that, and I'm talking about, no microphones, no cameras, just me and you. And we'll just talk about general stuff. And just this is something that kind of hits home for me because I have way more experience or bad experiences with trust. And
More so being the person.
not saying
Like
that I had
breaking
trust
the
issues.
trust?
Yeah, breaking the trust.
Okay,
So I have a lot more experience on that side of things, and it helped me with our relationship tremendously because I've seen what it does on both sides. But we wanted to talk about how it is that people build trust, and how do you do it with all of the platforms of social media that we have today, and how hard it is.
Super difficult, especially because we have access to so many different. I mean, there's like apps out there that I never even heard of that I'm sure people are on. I mean, it's so easy to get on. Like, what are some dating? I've never done
Hinge,
dating
Bumble,
apps,
Tinder.
so I don't know, but
Those are the 3 that I was on.
Tinder, you have like regular social media. You have Instagram, you have TikTok. Like now, there's like what Threads? I don't even know what that is. Twitter, like
It's a lot of ways to get access to people.
to certain people. So if you don't want to, hit them up on Instagram, you can hit them up on Twitter. You don't want to hit them up on,
Snapchat.
yeah. And then like
TikTok.
the dating apps too. Like you can be on a dating app and your spouse doesn't even know. Like it's so easy.
Oh no, they'll know. We actually have a story about that.
Well, like
real quick.
It's easy and it's not because
It's not.
Real quick. I'm gonna let you tell the story.
Yeah, all right. So basically, one of my brothers was on a dating app, and so was my brother-in-law's, my sister-in-law, my future sister-in-law. One of her friends was on a dating app. Mm-hmm. I had met her sister, my sister-in-law's friend. We had all met.
Yeah.
When we all went out.
Mm-hmm. We all went out.
We met her. We had a good time. So fast forward, a couple months later, she's scrolling through the dating app and she sees a picture of me, and she screenshots it and sends it to my sister-in-law, which in turn sends it to my brother-in-law,
Which
her
then
brother,
comes to me and asks me, "Hey, isn't this Brian?"
Yeah. And I go over the house. She's like, "I gotta talk to you." And bruh, I've been in these situations so many times. When a woman says to you, "Close the door, I gotta ask you something," that right there sends shivers down my spine, because I've been in situations so many times where, again, breaking trust and just doing things that I shouldn't have been doing. And when someone says to you, "Sit down, I gotta talk to you," then you're like, "Damn, what is this?" Mm-hmm. So I'm nervous, even though I know I didn't do anything. I'm still nervous because it was like PTSD from my
From the past.
and I'm like, oh my god, what's going on? So long story short, she asked me, "Are you on a dating site?" I'm like, "No." Are you kidding me? I was like,
I already know. Like, I already knew he
like,
wasn't, but I'm like,
so I gave her
yeah.
my phone. She goes through my, like, she didn't go through my phone, but I was like, here, you could look, you could look at my phone. But what it was is that my brother took a group picture, I guess on one of the dating sites, and he posted one of them as like, oh, family's everything
Like
or
family,
whatever.
yeah.
And so the joke, they knew it wasn't my profile. It was my brother's profile. But the point is, you can't do anything today. With social media, you can't do anything
No.
at all. I mean, you will get exposed real quick. That's just as y'all did.
Sorry.
You know, and it's just so hard. It's so hard to build trust. And like, let's say you're a woman that had to deal with that, right? You had your ex that was on a dating site. Now you start dating someone new, and now
it feels
you have
like
trust issues.
You have trust issues. Now it's like you feel as though, oh my God, am I going to have to check all these dating apps? Am I going to have to check all these apps? Like, make sure he's not liking anybody's picture, making sure anything, like, let me look at his following. Like, you know, does anything seem fishy? Which really sucks because I've been on that end where I've had my trust broken, and then you turn into like the FBI.
And you don't want to.
You don't want to do that. Like, you're counting his followers. Like, women, like, you know what I'm talking about. His followers go from like 760 to 761, and you're going through the following. You're like, who's that one person? Who's that one
That's
person?
sick.
That's sick. And it's just like, it sucks. But like, I feel like so many women go through it, and it's just, it's not a healthy way of being in a relationship.
No, you don't want to
really
be in that type of relationship, man. And being vulnerable with your partner, and as a man, it sucks because it's almost like a sign of weakness, but I don't believe it is.
Yeah.
But if you're vulnerable and you're open and you're transparent with your partner, like with Jess, I was 1,000 unequivocally 100,000% honest and open. I was an open book from day one.
From day one, he told me like about his past, who he was, what he did, and
everything I did.
Everything. Like, absolutely
there was
everything.
Like,
there was a time where I'm like, I can't even believe he's actually telling me this right now.
I held nothing.
Nothing. And which is crazy because it could have had the opposite effect, and it could have actually caused me to kind of take a step back and be like, well, if this is how you were, is this still how you are? But I took it as, you know, if you're willing to be honest with me about who you were, that shows growth, and you haven't broken my trust. So I'm going to give you trust in hopes that you're being honest about who you were and who you are now. So,
and some people may take that as a red flag. Like if you start dating someone and they're just telling you all these things, you're like, maybe this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
Because you already have trust issues. And I get it. I get both sides. But the reason why I was so transparent and so honest was because as soon as I met her, I knew that was going to be my wife, and I was going to marry her 1,000%. And so I said to myself, I want to be as open and as honest as possible. I want this to be the foundation of our relationship, and I don't want to do anything that's going to, that's going to jeopardize that. And so I took a risk because she could have easily been like, nah, I'm good, but I decided that, I was going to be an open book and tell her everything. So I get both sides. I get, why you wouldn't want to and then why you would. But also, it's not like I treated it as a therapy session. I didn't just unload everything all at once.
No, and I don't think you should. And I don't think you should do that with every person that you date. I think you want to be honest and vulnerable and transparent to the right person, to the person that you obviously see a future with, because being vulnerable to the wrong person can cause some damage, and letting your guard down too much is also not.
And you want to be consistent. That is the number one thing that I've based my entire relationship with you has been just consistent since day one.
I'm not even kidding. Since day one, he's never switched up.
Never.
We're 3 years in.
And I have switched up, and you can tell the first few months, even longer, like 6 months, whatever, and then that dip comes, you can feel it.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. And like, it's like less calls, like less dates, less thoughtful gifts, no more flowers, like not doing the things that they were
You used to
doing,
do.
they used to do.
Yeah.
And then to me, or to a lot of people, and probably to a lot of women as well, or men and women, it shows that like there's lack of interest there. And then that starts to cause doubt, which then leads to trust issues. And then now you're like, well, you're not doing what you were doing before. Like, what's going on? Is somebody else having your attention? Like, are you not in this?
Yeah,
Are
all
you
these
somewhere else?
IG models.
Which,
But it's so hard today, man. It brings me back to like social media. It's so easy to get distracted. And I'm human. I'm not perfect.
there's temptation.
There is
everywhere on
temptation
social media,
everywhere.
especially with the fact of how much these platforms allow you to show.
It's crazy. You could practically be naked and it's okay, but you can't post certain things. Anyway, that's a whole nother topic. But it's so easy to get distracted. The temptation is everywhere. And I'm in the belief where I used to think that liking a picture, a girl's picture, was not a big deal. But I kind of switched up my views now. And I can see why that would be a lack of respect for your partner, because I wouldn't want you liking some guy's picture with his shirt off at the beach, flexing, 6-pack abs, ripped.
No, I think that's
So why would
disrespectful to
I
you.
like a picture of a chick with her whole ass out on the beach? A thirst trap. Why would I like that?
I mean, you won't like that.
No, I don't. But that's what I said. You won't like that. No,
No, I'm just kidding.
I don't think it's
No,
I don't think it's respectful.
No, that's absolutely not respectful. I think it's disrespectful to your partner. And unfortunately, like some people think that, oh, it's like not a big deal. It's just a like. And in reality, it's not just a like. It's like opening a door. Like me and him are sitting here today, married with a baby because of a like on Instagram.
Because of a like.
Because of a like. It's like you're opening a door, and not only are you opening a door, it's just disrespectful. Like, there's no reason for you to like pictures like that. Like, yeah, it's cool if you like your picture of a friend that you knew in high school and she's freaking like engaged, or she's freaking like holding her dog, or like, there's obviously.
I'm not saying no, you can't like pictures of
that
any
you could
girl.
like on social media of people that you know, but
Right.
it's the type of pictures that you like and the message that you're sending out there.
How crazy is it? We are married with a kid off of a like.
I liked his picture.
She liked my picture, and then I perceive that as okay. And this is the
Must
thing.
be interested.
This is why I'm not like highly against likes, but this is why I find it as a lack of respect for your partner if you like certain pictures of women, because you're opening the door to any possibilities. She liked my picture. I took it upon myself to slide in her DM. Boom. Years later, we're married with a kid. Like
one like
anything can happen. So if you like a picture of a girl, like, and I don't know, maybe she slides in your DM and maybe she hits on you, or maybe you want to hit on her. It's just then it's a snowball effect, and it could lead into that. And so I think you're better off just avoiding it. You can obviously look.
You're obviously like,
Instagram.
let's be real.
Instagram.
Okay, let's be absolutely real. You're gonna look. It's gonna get sent to you.
Obviously.
It's like it's gonna get sent to you, your boys, whatever, in the chat. Like, you can look. You're gonna look. It's not even like you can look, because you're gonna look. Like, that's just a reality. I feel like you're very naive if you feel like your man is, like Bird Box.
Yeah, that's not happening.
With the blindfold, not looking.
Happening.
It's nearly impossible. It's all over social media. You can't stop it. It's as soon as you open that Instagram, as soon as you open that TikTok, it's booty bouncing
everywhere.
But to like and to kind of initiate anything,
to engage with it,
to engage into anything is really, really wrong.
Because look what happened to us.
It's cause trust issues.
You can end up like us, married with kids. If
So I
that's
mean,
what you want.
if that's what you want,
If that's what you want. If that's what you want. I
but if you're in
mean,
a relationship, I think you need to respect your spouse and
yeah,
not engage into the things like that.
and just one of my best friends told me the greatest feeling is knowing that I can leave my phone on the kitchen table, on the couch. I can go out to the grocery store, leave my phone at home, and not worry about anything. I, on the other hand, never had that up until now. I was always, man. If I told you guys the stories, okay, I'm coming from deep covert operations, CIA missions. Okay, I'm not proud of it. I'm just saying I
Drop the
have been
comments,
there.
you guys. Drop in the comments. I'm not even kidding. If you want to hear some of Brian's stories,
I have been there, and it's not cool. I'm not glorifying it by any means.
no, by any means,
I'm
absolutely
just telling. I'm just saying. I've been there, and do I think some of it has turned, like, I've turned some of that into positivity? Absolutely, because I know what that temptation is like. I know what happens when you go down that rabbit hole. I know what happens when you chase the carrot. I know. And not one time in my life have I said, wow, that was worth it. Is it fun? Is it exciting? Is it dangerous? Is it adventurous? Yeah, it's all of that.
not. Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, man, it's just not good for you. It's not good for the person involved or anyone involved. But anyway, I'm like straying off. I'm just saying, you don't want that feeling of knowing that, man, you know, you don't want that conversation. Sit down. I need to talk to you. Close the door. You don't want that. That sends like chills down my spine.
Ugh, like the knot in your stomach, like you
The
just
knot in your
feel,
stomach,
like,
and you're like,
that
oh
pressure in your
man,
chest that you're just like,
something's going on.
we're gonna have to have this talk.
So yeah, I don't want to be in that position. I don't want to ever be in that position. I don't want anyone that I know to be in that position. But it can happen, especially with Instagram, socials,
And he
all that
always
stuff.
leaves his phone around, which is also like another thing. It's just like there's nothing to hide. I give him my phone, he gives me his phone.
Man, I tell
It's
her, look
literally,
up. I give her my phone. I'm like, yo, Google this real quick. I let her see my Google searches. Well, she doesn't look
I
at
don't
my
look
Google
at
search.
Google searches.
She doesn't look at my Google search. But if you know that you're always on Google and you're Googling stuff, and I tell her, hey, Google something, and she types a G, and if something comes up with G, she's gonna see it.
Yeah,
But
obviously.
yeah, like that is not even a question to me. And he told me, he said, that's the greatest feeling of having that trust with your partner, of knowing I can leave anything around you. I can go anywhere. I don't have to hide anything. And once you have that foundation, I think you can build on that and you can have something that is indestructible.
Like we had, when we first started dating, we had people kind of from our past reach out to us. And instead of kind of keeping that to ourselves, we were like open about it. And we were like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, this person's reaching out. So
Yeah.
if they ever reach out again, like, you know what the deal is. You're already like kind of ahead of the game. You know what's going on. I want to be honest with you and let you know what's going on.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was so important.
I also believe that once you have something good, man, they just be coming out the woodworks.
That is temptation out of.
They be coming out the woodwork. It's
Like, where you coming from, sis? It's been a year.
they
It's
just
been months.
they just be
Like,
they see that engagement video in Greece and they're like, oh, hello.
let's find out if you changed.
Let's see if you'll bite. But nah, man, listen. I think that building that with that special someone is just important because once that trust is broken, and again, I've been there.
Once you shatter that,
Once that trust is gone, man, I don't see how you can come back from that. I've tried. I have tried in my past, and it's damaged. It's damaged
it
goods.
is. Like, once you break that, it's like
You gotta
some
go.
people could work on it with a lot of work and probably therapy, honestly, because
Yeah.
it's gonna require something, especially depending how bad that trust was broken. If some people are going to be able to come back from that, some people it's just a closed book. Moving on.
I believe that if that person breaks it, depending on what it is, like I'm not saying, hey, you know,
Told you I was going to the grocery store. I ended up going to the gym. Like,
yeah, like let's be real here. We're
Yeah.
talking about serious things. I think you should just be out. Cut your losses. Yo, it was nice. It was nice knowing you, nice meeting you. But you know, this is one of my. This is just one of my. What do they call those? When
non-negotiable.
non-negotiables. This is one of my non-negotiables. I'm out.
I think if trust and honesty is a non-negotiable for you, you need to be firm about that from the beginning. I told Brian, listen, I got rules here. And they're not many. I got 3 rules, and he knows what
It's
those
not.
3
It's
rules.
not many. It's not many
He knows
rules.
what those 3 rules are, and I don't play about that at all. And I told him from the very beginning, you break any of that, it's a done deal for me.
And I respect it. I feel like that's how it should be. And same.
But I'm saying when you stand on that, you stand on that. You stand on business. Okay,
Yeah.
right? Isn't that what you're?
You can't be going back. You can't be going back and forth. You can't do that. But yeah, I have so many different, and it sucks. It sucks because I was on not on the receiving end. I was
You were the one.
I was the one.
And we talked about
And
this. There's probably people out there. Well, not probably. There's definitely women out there who have trust issues probably till today because of some of the things that you've done. We've talked about that.
Probably no, 100%.
100%. And it sucks.
It does suck. I'm not proud of it. And that's part of the reason why I said I wish that I can apologize. Like the last episode, I was like, I wish that I can just give it like a general blanket apology, because you know, we don't think in the moment. We're not thinking this is gonna damage the person forever. And
Well, not forever, but
maybe I didn't damage the person forever or whatever. But you're not thinking that in the moment. You're just thinking, oh, this is whatever. You're thinking for yourself. You're being selfish.
Yeah.
And you're not intentionally trying to cause any type of trauma later on in the future for anyone. But sometimes it happens. And I may not know that that's the case, but that's why I was like, you know, I feel bad.
So if there's anybody here who can give some insight, it is definitely this guy over here.
Yeah, I can give some insight, man. And
he's got some spicy stories. Actually, if you guys want to hear some of these things, maybe
she's over here. She's falling asleep, guys.
I'm not falling asleep, first of all. But if you guys want me to put on the next episode, Brian in the hot seat, 21 questions, I ain't playing.
21 questions?
Yeah, so you guys can get some insight of his past. Let's say spicy. I feel like that would be fun.
One thing I also want to say about that is back then it was a lot easier to get away with things.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Back then, when I say back then, I mean like 10 years ago. Maybe even a little longer. I don't want to date myself. BlackBerry
Not
days.
longer.
Back in the BlackBerry days, it was easier. It was easier to get away with things. Now, bruh, you can't go anywhere without even being noticed. And I'm not saying that we're over. Listen. I'm not saying that we're famous by no stretch, because we're not, and we're not the type of people. But there was a story that it was so crazy, so wild that to this day I'll never forget about this. When we were in Greece, we were in the middle of nowhere. We take a ferry from Mykonos to Santorini. We get on the boat. I was sick as a dog because I hate being on boats, motion sickness. Those waters, it felt like Poseidon was just like stirring up something under that water, man, because those waves were like 30 feet high, I swear. But anyway, I
wish I had footage of Brian. I swear I wish I had footage of you getting on that ferry. Which, fun fact, like not to get off topic or anything, but we hit our first ferry from, what was it, Mykonos to Santorini. That was the first one?
No, from Athens to Mykonos.
Mykonos, which it was like shaky, but not that bad.
It wasn't terrible.
It wasn't bad. From Mykonos to Santorini, it was...
Bruh.
the worst.
It felt like I was on a
It
boat of
was-
deadliest catch.
It was so bad. So then, but the ride wasn't the longest ride. The longest ferry ride is from Santorini back to Athens. So I booked us a flight from Santorini back to Athens. And on our last night in Mykonos, not Mykonos, our last night in Santorini, I'm like, you know what? Like we're laying in bed. It's like midnight. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just check the flight to make sure, because we missed our first ferry from Athens to Mykonos. Remember that? Because of the time difference. we couldn't get it together, you guys. So whatever, long story short, we went to go check our flight. Our flight was already in the air, 30,000
gone.
feet up there, gone. And we were forced to take a ferry from Santorini to freaking Athens.
But that ferry was the worst ride of my life. But anyway, what I meant to say in that story, that long-winded story, was that we get on a boat and I see this guy, older guy with the family, his wife and his kids, and he looks at me like twice, 3 times, and I look at Jess. I'm like, why is this guy looking at me? And he goes over and he says, "You guys from TikTok?" I'm like, yeah. And he goes, "I knew it was you." He goes, "I knew it was you. It was the eyes that gave it away." And his wife's like, "Yeah, it's that late night scrolling." They wound up being from Brooklyn, I think.
Yeah, so like close
So
by. So
yeah,
it
so the
makes sense why
vicinity
we-
was so that's why he probably saw one of
But
our.
I swear, this isn't like, we weren't like, oh my God, we're famous.
No.
I was like so thrown off guard. I was like, do you know him? Like, I thought I was being punked. I'm not even kidding. I was like, you definitely like saw him at work, or you saw me, or you know us
Yeah,
from
no.
somewhere. Like, there's no way you know us from TikTok.
But it's so wild that we were in the middle of nowhere, halfway across the globe, and we have someone that recognizes you. So
I can only imagine what it's like
if
dating and then
you out here and you out here,
out here.
you go.
And let me tell you something.
They're
If
gonna
you
get
haven't
you.
been
They gonna
caught
get
yet, because I know some people. If you haven't been caught yet, count your blessings. Because you one day, and I don't wish this upon anybody. I really genuinely do not. But the day is gonna come, man.
Listen, man. Just build that trust with your person.
100%. It's super important in your marriage and your relationship.
Yeah, and don't break that trust. It's not worth it. All right. But anyway, we're gonna catch you guys on the next episode. Hopefully,
Our little ones
maybe
waking up.
I don't know. Maybe Jess asked me 21 questions on the next one. Maybe we talk about something else. But we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.